The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 6-3 Colfax Vikings will get back into Dunn St. Croix Conference action as they take on the 6-3 Elk Mound Mounders. The Vikings are coming off a solid 62-45 victory over the Prairie Farm Panthers on Monday, while the Mounders are coming off a 46-45 loss to the Fall Creek Crickets, also on Monday. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look into tonight's matchup between the Elk Mound Mounders and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Jay Fall and Dan Petshaw will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the Elk Mound Mounders and the Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are looking to follow up on their victory on Monday when the Vikings defeated the Prairie Farm Panthers 62-45. Now, in that game, the Vikings seemed to get their swagger back as they had three players score in double figures. The Vikings were led in scoring by 5'9" junior Elijah Ensminger, who hit on 7 field goals, 3 of which were three-pointers for 17 points. Ensminger was followed by Aiden Fisher and Jack Charlo, who each scored 10 points. They were followed by Nick Jensen, who scored on 4 field goals for 8 points. Leading the Vikings on the boards was Charlo, who pulled down 10 rebounds, while Fisher grabbed 6 and Ensminger hauled in 5. So far on the season, leading the way in scoring for the Vikings is Charlo, who's averaging nearly 19 points per game. He's followed by Ensminger, who's putting up over 17, and Nick Jensen, who's chipping in nearly 9 points per game. Leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging 9 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down 7 per game. The Elk Mound Mounders come into tonight's game with a 6-3 record following their heartbreaking 46-45 loss to the Fall Creek Crickets on Monday. Now, the Mounders are currently sitting at 3-0 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, only a half a game out of first place. Look for the Mounders to have 4 players scoring in double figures. They are led by 6-foot senior Ryan Bartig, who is averaging around 13 points per game, while 6'4" junior Caden Russo and 5'11" sophomore Cale Knutson are each scoring at an 11-point per game clip, and junior Sam Wenzel is chipping in another 10 points per game. On the boards, the Mounders are led by Wenzel, who's pulling down 6 boards per game, and Russo's grabbing another 5. So far on the season, the Mounders are scoring at a 57-point average while giving up only 46 points per game. The Vikings are averaging 61 points per game while allowing an average of 57. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Noel on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And coach, on Monday, the Vikings got back on the winning track with an impressive 62-45 win over the Prairie Farm Panthers. Your comments about that game?
Well, it was just fun being back at home again because we had played 6 road games in a row. So it felt kind of weird to play a game at Colfax. The boys were very excited to be able to play in front of their friends, especially, and family. But overall, I was very pleased with the game and the fact that Prairie Farm can be a tough team to play because they play a unique style of basketball, and I thought we took care of business for the most part. And we got up by 20, I think, in the game, and ended up winning by 17 points, I think. So. Yeah. I was happy with the effort.
Now, in the last 2 games, the Vikings have had 3 players scoring double figures, but it's not always the same 3. So that's got to be pretty reassuring when you have different players each night step up and make good things happen.
It is. We've had, I believe, 6 different players this year score double figures. So anytime that you have that many players that are scoring double figures, that's a great thing. You look at some teams, they might only have 3 or 4, and we've had 6 different kids do that this year. So when we have all of our pieces working, our inside and our outside, I think we have the makeup to have a very nice team.
Now, we've got an interesting one coming up tonight as the Vikings are going to take on the 6-3 Elk Mound Mounders, and that's a conference matchup that could keep the Vikings in the thick of the conference race, but that's going to be a tough task as the Mounders are 3-0 in the conference. In addition, this is a rivalry game for the Vikings. What can you tell us about the Mounders and any special challenges they present?
Well, I think number one, everyone knows that they're going to play a 1-3-1 defense. So as long as we can execute against that, get our shooters ready, get their feet ready to shoot the basketball, and then get that inside-outside game going. We have 2 players that are scoring right around 19 points a game right now. That's excellent. Most teams are lucky if they have one guy that's doing that. We have 2, so – and one's, they're both kind of on the outside, even though Jack can play as well. With that said, Elk Mound, they have a very nice team. They were picked to win the conference, and they've got Coach Hahn is back coaching them, so they're going to be very well coached. I just feel like this could be a really good game for our kids, to kind of see where we stack up.
Now, on Monday, it sure looked like Nick Jensen was nearly 100% on his ankle. It's good to have him back at full speed, but how are the Vikings doing overall with those twists and bumps and bruises that seem to become more frequent as the season progresses?
Yeah, as of right now, knock on wood, I would say we're at 100%. All the kids are doing well, and they're all at school, so that's a good thing. We've had times this year where we've had about everybody gone. So it's good that everybody's here and we're ready to go.
Well, thank goodness for that one. Well, Coach Knoll, good luck in tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can keep things rolling and stay in the thick of that conference race and beat those Mounders.
Thank you, and go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are hoping to repeat their performance from last Monday night where they controlled the action throughout the game, as well as remain in the conference race. On the other hand, the Mounders would like to get back to winning and keep pace in the Dunn-St. Croix conference race. So, the stage is set for some exciting high school boys basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to Elk Mound High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Elk Mound Mounders. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually, your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the harm.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking Boys varsity basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening and welcome to Elk Mound for a neighbors Southern rivalry basketball game. The Colfax boys are going to take on their Elk Mound Mounders in the first meeting of the season. The follow-up game will be in Colfax. I'm Jay Fall here with Dan Petchaw and Chris Olson on the camera. Both of these teams come in with identical 6-3 records, where the Mounders are tied for second in the conference. They are undefeated in 3 games, and while Colfax is at 1-2. Vikings come in after Monday night's win over Prairie Farm 62-45, where Monday night Fall Creek just edged the Mounders by a score of 45-46. Other games going on in the conference tonight. Boyceville is visiting Plum City Elmwood down in Elmwood. Durand, Arkansas faces Glenwood City up in the Hilltopper country, and Spring Valley is at Mondovi tonight. Taking a look at some team statistics. Colfax so far slightly outscoring their opponents by a margin of 545-501, and they have that lead in both of the halves as well. Scoring as a team for the Vikings, the Vikings have outscored their opponents 204 to, nope, reading the wrong number here. Their shooting percentage for Colfax is about 44% as opposed to their opponents' 38%. As far as rebounding goes, the Vikings also slightly out-rebounding their opponents by a margin of 30 to 25. As far as Elk Mound goes, they've outscored their opponents 509 to 410, leading in both of the halves, of course. Elk Mound shooting 41% from the floor, so Colfax shooting a couple percentage points better, while they have held their opponents to 39% compared to Colfax having 38%. As far as rebounds go, Elk Mound is being out-rebounded by their opponents slightly, 26 to 28. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort Food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by paying a visit to them and doing some business with them. They're bringing you Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, and NLWN2 will be back after this.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Welcome back to Elk Mound, where the Mounders and the Vikings ready to square off in boys basketball competition in the Dunn St. Croix here. And Dan, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Both teams with equal overall records, and as far as statistically, team-wise, they're pretty close.
Yeah, and Colfax is, even though they had that loss at Spring Valley the other night, they got a little thing going on here. And Elk Mound's coming in with their loss, and they got a little revenge to do tonight. So I got a feeling, ball possession is going to be a big part of both coaches' scheme tonight, and free throws down the end.
And we'll go courtside. Thank you for your cooperation. Welcome to tonight's Gun St. Croix boys basketball matchup between the Colfax Vikings and the Elk Mound Mounders. Starting for the Vikings, a senior, number 3, Kyle Irwin. A junior, number 10, Elijah Espenberg. A senior, number 12, Joshua Lau. A junior, number 23, Johnson. And a senior, number 42, Nicholas Johnson. And now, so that's the introduction of the starting lineups. It may have been a little challenging to hear the starters for Elk Mound, so we'll run down those for you. First for Colfax, of course, it's Irwin, number 3, Ensminger, number 10, Charlo, number 12, Johnson, 23, and Jensen, 42. And we'll pick up the Elk Mound starters as we go along here as we're getting ready to, well, they're waiting for the band. Number 1, Caden Russo, 6'4", junior forward. Number 3, 6-foot senior guard. Number 3, Ryan Bardig. 5'11", sophomore guard. Number 4, Cale Knutson. 6'6", junior forward, Sam Wenzel. And rounded out by 6'2", senior forward, number 20, Aiden Bartholomew. Colfax in road red. They're going right to left as we look on. Ball tapped around a bit and controlled by the Mounders. So it'll be Bardig that brings it up the floor and fires it over to Russo. Free throw line extended right. Russo back to Bardig. And keeping it on top to Knutson. Knutson drives to the free throw line, out to Russo. Russo three-pointer goes through. Mounders on the board first. It is 3-0 Elk Mound. 17 and a half minutes to go in the first half. As Johnson with the ball up high on the left wing, fires it off to Irwin. Irwin up high on the right, backs off toward half court. And down in the far corner to Ensminger. Back out to Irwin. Waiting for the opportunity to Johnson up high on the left side. Alley-oops a pass to Irwin. Now it's dumped back to Johnson. Johnson right outside the three-point arch is going to look for Ensminger, but goes to Irwin, still up top. And from the far side, Ensminger's three-point shot missed, trying to get at it with Charlo, but it's swept out of there by Wenzel of the Mounders.
Colfax starts out man, and Elk Mound starts out in 2-3 zone.
Mounders out on the left side. It's Bardig near the corner. Throws it out on top to Knutson. Knutson dribbles a couple of times, passes to Russo. Russo then dishes it in the corner to Bartholomew. Back out on top to Bardig and Russo. And a three-point attempt. Free throw line left is missed by Elk Mound's Ryan Bardig. And so Colfax down on their end. It's in the corner to Charlo. Charlo all the way across to Johnson. Back in the corner again. Ensminger. He fires another three-pointer that gets inside the rim and pops out. Mounders bring it up. It's Russo. Russo to Bardig. Bardig holding it up high, waiting for reinforcements. Down to Russo in the corner, all the way across the court to Bartholomew. Then to Wenzel, top of the key. It is Knutson. And he drains a three-pointer. 2 3 balls have got Elk Mound up 6-0. 15:40 to go in the first. Irwin across the timeline, dumps it down to Charlo. Charlo bottled up, back over to Irwin, down in the near corner to Johnson. Johnson to Irwin, and they're passing it back and forth. Johnson lets it go, three-point land, hits the rim, and goes off into the hands of the Mounders. Elk Mound bringing it up. It's Bardig. Bardig up high on the right side. Bardig Down to Bartholomew from the baseline over the top, and Wenzel tries to get it. He does and gets it back to Bartholomew. Up at the top of the key to Knutson. Knutson heading right up the center, loses the ball as he had to go around Nick Jensen, and it went out of bounds. Colfax will have it. Coming up on 15 minutes left in the first half. Elk Mound out in front of the Vikings, 6-0. Across the center timeline, it is Irwin. Irwin dishes it in to Jensen, back out on the far side. Ensminger makes a move, then gets it to Johnson. Johnson tries a 3-ball, misses it, and it was the last touch by the Mounders. Colfax going to keep it on their end. Ball handed to Irwin. Just underneath on the left side, and to Nick Jensen. Jensen up on the baseline. That shot hits the rim and out, and it falls into the hands of Sam Wenzel of Mounders. Up to Bardig. Bardig driving around his back, nearly loses the ball. Jensen there got a hand on it. Bartholomew then back down to Knutson. Knutson lets it fly for 3, and we'll have looks like a foul under the middle, and that is going to go on Sam Wenzel of the Mounders. First foul of the game. Irwin nice and easy out of the backcourt for Colfax. Crosses outside the jump circle, then fires opposite side to Ensminger, and he lets it fly for 2. Got inside the arch. Vikings on the board. It's 6-2. Elk Mound leading Colfax, coming up on 14 minutes to go in the first half. Out to Bartholomew. Bartholomew to Knutson, over to Bardig. Back to Knutson in the middle. Bardig down, free throw line extended right. He'll go to the opposite side to Bartholomew. He'll drive in, stop, dish it out to Caden Russo. Then back down to Bartholomew, into Wenzel. Wenzel doubled up on, having trouble with it, and and the loose ball picked up by Kyle Irwin. Irwin now has it knocked away from him, and he's going, and then the Vikings trying to knock it away again, and then this time they got caught for a foul. That's going against Nick Jensen. That's his first and Colfax's first of the game. Couple of substitutions for the Mounders. 13:35 to go first half. 6-2. Elk Mound leads Colfax. Bardig up high on the left side. Bardig to Russo. Down underneath to Wenzel on the right side. Wenzel has to toss it back out on top to Bartholomew. Over to Bardig, back to Russo up top. Left wing Knutson fires it back off to Russo. Russo for 3, hits another one. 9-2 Mounders, coming up on 13 minutes to go in the first half. Kyle Irwin doubled up on, fires a pass right underneath to a wide open Jack Charlo with a nice baseline jump shot on the left side. Bardig to Knutson off free throw line left. He'll drive the lane. It goes on the opposite corner to Logan Jerome, and it's picked off again. 10's pass by Ensminger, number 10 for Colfax. Quickly off on the right side to Irwin. Back to Ensminger. Still outside the arch. He's going to dribble it toward the center and dish it back to Irwin. Passed off to Johnson. Opposite side, Ensminger. Ensminger pulls up, 12-footer. Rolls off, no good. Jensen trying to get there, but Caden Russo stepped in front of him for the Mounders. Russo to Bardig. To Knutson down in the near corner, back to outside to Russo. Russo, another three-pointer from free throw line extended right, and a timeout on the floor. 12:02 to go in the first. It's Elk Mound 12. Colfax 4. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
Back at Elk Mound, 12:02 remaining, first half, 12-4. Elk Mound out in front of Colfax. Vikings will bring it up the floor. Johnson to Fisher, back to Johnson. Johnson rolling right. Goes across the court, stolen away by Ryan Bartig. Bartig going for the layup on the right side. Makes the layup and is fouled. That foul is going to be charged to Mitch Medine. No, check that. That's going to be on Nick Jensen. Nope, Blake Johnson. There we go. So going to the free throw line for Elk Mound, Ryan Bartig. Bartig finishes off the three-point play with a free throw. 15-4, Elk Mound out in front of Colfax. Back and forth between Fisher and Johnson. Johnson crosses the center circle, dribbling off to the right. It's pass out to Fisher. Fisher far sidelines, has to go somewhere with it. And it ends up going out of bounds off Elk Mound Sam Wenzel. Colfax to toss it in right in front of the Elk Mound student section there, and Ensminger gets the pass in. Back to Johnson up high in the left wing.
Elk Mound goes big. Colfax goes small.
Jensen out to an open Fisher. Fisher drains the three-pointer. 15-7 Elk Mound. 11-11 to go first half. Out of the backcourt for the Mounders, Brady Amble passes it off to Bartholomew on the right side. He drives to the baseline and dishes it back to Wenzel. Wenzel in the lane. His pass deflected, it looked like, by his own teammate. It goes out of bounds, and Colfax gets it back. Fisher and Johnson back and forth. Johnson up high, goes back to Aiden Fisher. To Johnson. Vikings going to be patient till they find a seam. Then it's tipped and knocked away by Logan Jerome, and he goes in with nearly a stuff. Got a layup up high on the rim. 17-7 Elk Mound. Down in the far corner, Ensminger. Ensminger up to Johnson. Johnson to Hoffman down near side to Fisher in the corner. He goes up, shot missed. Jensen trying to get it. Rebounded by Knutson of Elk Mound. Amble will drive it to the center to Bartholomew. Free throw line right. Back to Knutson closer to the lane. Bartholomew right inside to Sam Wenzel. Puts up the shot and missed. Rebounded by Bartholomew. Tries to go up for a shot, and foul's going to be tagged on Elijah Ensminger. That is his first. That is the third foul for Colfax here in the half. 9:54 remains first half. It is 17-7. Elk Mound out in front of Colfax. Mounders to throw it in underneath their own basket. It's Russo. Russo looking, still looking, gets it out to Bartig. Back to Russo from the corner, rolls off, rebounded by Jerome. He misses it. Rebound pulled down by Charlo of the Vikings. Quickly up the floor, it goes to Ensminger, back to Johnson. Johnson on the right wing, back to Ensminger. Keeping it over on the far side. Alley-oopson in the corner. Ensminger trying to get it back outside. He'll flip it to Johnson. Johnson out to Ensminger. Ensminger out in the corner, three-point attempt, hits the rim, doesn't go. Rebounded by Colfax's Jack Charlo, gets it out to Blake Johnson. Down inside to Hoffman, back outside, and Aiden Fisher outside the three-point arch, is fouled by Elk Mound's Logan Jerome. So Aiden Fisher is going to get, was he outside the arch? And let's see, it looks like it. First free throw, good. Yep, so this is free throw number 2. Second one goes in as well. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavaliers baseball. Follow the Cavaliers throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Third free throw does not go in. Score 17-9, Elk Mound. Mounders with the ball. Bardig out to Russo. Russo, another three-pointer out at the free throw line extension. That is his 4th three-ball tonight. 12 of the points. Him from that spot. Ensminger, free throw line right. Mitch Medine into Colton Hoffman. Down in the corner to Ensminger. Ensminger back out on top to Medine. He'll drive in from the corner out to Ensminger. Ensminger driving in, coming back out. Loops around, pops it up from 12, hits the rim, no good. A couple of Colfax Vikings with it. Oh, and it looks like Charlo got bumped in the face, and then Aiden Fisher took an extra step before starting his dribble. Charlo checking to make sure everything's there, and I think he's going to get a break from by Mason Yarrington.
Yeah, he had a friendly fire from Aiden Fisher there.
Yarrington actually came in for Fisher. So it's Knutson. Free throw line right, dishes out in the corner. Shot by Russo, rolls off, and it's rebounded by Ensminger for the Vikings. Quickly across the center jump circle, tripled up on. He gets it out to Hoffman, then to Medine. To Ensminger out of the top of the key to Yarrington. Down underneath to Charlo. Charlo drives in, fires it back to Yarrington. Will bring it back out on top on the left wing, and they'll set it up again. Back outside to Ensminger. Ensminger up from the corner of the lane, bangs around and out. Then rebounded, goes out to Yarrington. Yarrington tried the three-pointer, it went off, and it looks like we're going to have a player control foul on Colfax's Colton Hoffman. That's his first. 7:32 remains in the first half. It's 20-9, Elk Mound leading Colfax. Out of the backcourt, it is Ryan Bardig to Bartholomew. Then back in the middle to Knutson. He'll drive right up the center of the lane, rolls around and out, gets his own rebound, puts it up and in. Cale Knutson for the Mounders. It's 22-9 Elk Mound, 7:11 to go in the first half. Free throw line right, it goes out to Elijah Ensminger, to Medine. Deeper in the corner to Charlo, and then back out to Ensminger with nothing but net from the sideline. Three-pointer, 22-12, Elk Mound. Top of the key, it's Bardig. Bardig out to Russo, back out on top, letting it fly. Cale Knutson, three-pointer missed, and it went out of bounds off of Colfax, so Elk Mound will keep it on their end. 6:45 left, first half. Elk Mound 22, Colfax 12, Dunn St. Croix High School Boys Basketball. Inbounds pass into Knutson. He makes sure he's clear of that three-point circle and drains it. 25-12, Mounders. Medine pulls up, three-pointer, and that one got a lot of air, missed everything, so Elk Mound will get it back. Eau Claire has a new semi-pro football team, the Eau Claire Cowboys, and NLWN 2 along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball in the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Welcome back to Elk Mound. 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. 25-12. Elk Mound leads Colfax. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow night as the Viking girls travel to Glenwood City to take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers in a Dunn St. Croix Conference battle. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball tomorrow night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Jay Fall and Dan Petschall with you. Chris Olson on the camera, along with executive producer Rick Olson. We're coming to you live from Elk Mound as Brady Amble brings the ball up the floor for the Mounders. Off to Knutson. He gets it back and then fires it off to Russo. Russo all the way across the court to Knutson, who drains a three-pointer. Elk Mound just shooting hot from that three-point circle. And Irwin give and go to Johnson. Back out top of the key, and the ball is tipped as they try to pass it to Ensminger. And it went out of bounds off one of the Vikings.
Yeah, let's see if Colfax isn't wanting to go zone, but I would like to see him maybe go 2-3 and kind of cover that three-point arc for a while.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea because Elk Mound has been just super from that. 7 3-pointers. Russo out to Amble, back to Russo. Russo goes up off the glass, doesn't go in. Nick Jensen, great rebound, pulling it off. Quickly up the floor, it goes to Ensminger. Ensminger drives to the free throw line. He pops it up from there. That one rolls around and out, and it's rebounded by Wenzel. Vikings have had trouble with that ball going in there, and Elk Mound has similar trouble there. Nick Jensen knocks it away back into the backcourt, which they can do. And so coming out with it is Amble. Amble out to Russo. Russo to Knutson. Back out on top to Wenzel. Wenzel shot 10-footer, missed. Rebounded by the Vikings. Irwin up the floor on the far side. Irwin up top. Irwin out to Charlo. And his three-pointer missed, and it goes right into the hands of Brady Amble. He'll bring it up the floor for Elk Mound. Amble dishes it down into the corner to Logan Jerome. He gets it into Wenzel. Wenzel gets it back to Jerome, and it's tapped away by Ensminger. Ensminger one-on-one, puts in a layup on the right side. Broke away from Cale Knutson, and it is 28-14. Elk Mound leading Colfax with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Amble to Jerome. He'll bring it in toward the lane, and then he'll fire it back out to Russo. Russo inside to Wenzel. Wenzel having trouble getting it out of there. Tripled up on by Colfax. Out on the far side, Logan Jerome. Jerome into Wenzel, back out to Jerome. Free throw line extended. Then opposite side to Caden Russo. Russo drives in. Ball tipped by Ensminger and goes out of bounds, so the Mounders will still keep it. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first half. It's Elk Mound 28, Colfax 14. Inbounds throw into Logan Jerome. Back out to Bartig. Bartig drives in, and it looks like we are going to have a player control foul on him. That is the third foul for Elk Mound, and that is only the first for Ryan Bartig. Nick Jensen to Johnson to Charlo, still in the backcourt. Fires a pass across the timeline to Irwin. Free throw line left. Irwin doubled up on, gets it into Jensen. Jensen alley-oops it out to Ensminger, far corner. Back out to Johnson, into Irwin. Irwin goes in, comes back out, passes it into Jensen, and Jensen, a nice sky hook on again to the right side. It's 28-16. Elk Mound still with the lead. Free throw line right out to Russo, to Knutson, back out to Bartholomew. He'll drive the lane, stop, dish it off to Knutson, and Knutson will put it up from 9 feet out. 30-16, Elk Mound, 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Knutson has 13.
Charlo out to Johnson. Bounces off big. Jerome with the rebound for Elk Mound. Bartig dribbling it, free throw line right. Fires it to Russo over in the opposite corner to Knutson. Driving up for the Mounders. Bartholomew puts it in on the left side. 32-16, Elk Mound, 2:25 left from the corner. Ensminger on the line, only for 2. Shouldn't say only, that was a great shot, but Mounders back with the ball. Bartig dribbling it off to the right side. Bartig into Knutson, back over on the left side to Russo. Russo, free throw line extended left. Out to Bartig. Back to Knutson, coming out to help Bartholomew on the top. He'll drive through, passes it over to Knutson. His three-point shot missed, rebounded by Charlo. Up the floor to Irwin. Irwin, free throw line left, down in the near corner to Charlo. Charlo up and in for 3. 32-21, Elk Mound. 1:35 left to go, first half. On the right side, Bartholomew. Bartholomew up to Knutson, over to Russo. Back up to Bartholomew. Bartholomew pulls it back a little bit. Russo, a sky 3. And coming down with it, a couple of players for a jump ball. It's going to Colfax. That was Kyle Irwin up against a taller Logan Jerome. 1:18 to go in the first half. 32-21. Elk Mound leading Colfax. Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball, Dunn St. Croix Conference. Medine out of the backcourt for Colfax. Medine off to Fisher, back to Medine. Medine looks, back over to Fisher. He'll take one for 3 and makes it. Nothing but net on that one. 32-24 with a minute to go in the first. Elk Mound still with the lead, but has narrowed it up quite a bit. Bartig out to Amble. Amble to Bartholomew. And outside a pass to Bartig. He tries to save it and can't. Goes out of bounds. Colfax gets it back. Aiden Fisher's going to throw the ball in. Medine waiting for it in the backcourt. They're right in front of the Colfax bench with 45.5 seconds left in the first half. Elk Mound 32, Colfax 24. Medine drives it up the floor to Fisher, back to Medine. Back out to Fisher. Fisher for 3! Colfax pulls to within 5. It's 32-27. Out of the backcourt, Amble. Amble to Russo. Russo, free throw line extended left. Out to Wenzel. Jerome, free throw line right to Bartholomew. Bartholomew pulled it back. Mounders holding it for one shot. Elk Mound with a 5-point lead, 32-27 over Colfax. And a 3-point attempt from about 22 for number 10, Logan Jerome, and it does not go. So at halftime, the Colfax Vikings trail the Elk Mound Mounders by a score of 32-27. We invite you now to stay tuned for halftime programming. You are watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Nick Jensen. And Nick, this is not the first time we've done this. You're a senior here at Colfax High School.
Yep.
Okay, so we know you play basketball, but what are some other things that you do here at school?
I play football, I do track, I throw in track and field, and I'm in a bunch of like FFA, student council, NHS.
Okay, so you're pretty busy.
Oh yeah, I'm really busy.
Okay, so when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has it been for you?
I would say we started in 3rd grade, and it's always been my favorite sport. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's all about teamwork and just fun to see all my friends grow.
And so what's the most important thing that you've learned in basketball?
Just to work hard.
That work ethic? Mm-hmm. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you've got a farming background, and so hard work is no stranger to you.
Oh, no.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you occupied?
Well, I like to hunt, and I like to be at the farm. That's pretty much all I do.
Okay. Rapid fire questions for you. I'm going to see how consistent you've been on these through the years. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cookies.
Favorite flavor?
Chocolate chip.
Of course. And I don't know if I asked you this before or not. Do you like the ones with the nuts or without?
Without nuts.
Okay.
Just the plain ones.
Just the plain ones. All right. And of course, it's got to be homemade, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, half the point of enjoying the homemade ones is the smell that goes through the house as they're baking.
And the fresh ones, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Your favorite color and why?
Orange, because it's the color of my hair.
And it most definitely is. Okay. Now, if you could have a superpower, what would your superpower be?
Flying.
Flying. And so what is Nick Jensen's superhero name that would go with that power to fly?
Red Rocket.
The Red Rocket. Okay, that sounds rather familiar. Like I seem to recall something like that from football.
Yep.
Okay. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
And favorite collegiate team?
Probably the Badgers.
Now, is there a basketball player through the years at any level of the sport who's affected the way that you play your game?
Probably like Nikola Jokic or something.
Okay. All right. We're talking with Nick Jensen today on Viking Profile. And Nick, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm planning on attending maybe UW River Falls or CVTC.
And how about a shout out to the family?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my sisters for always pushing me and cheering me on in the games.
Nothing pushes quite as hard as a sister, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And when people come to watch Viking games, what number are they going to be looking for, and where are they going to find you on the floor?
Number 42, center.
All right. We want to thank Nick Jensen for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcast Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Elk Mound. 32 for the Mounders, 27 for the Vikings. And Dan, how did we get there in the first half?
Here's the scores for Elk Mound right now. Cale Knutson leads the team with 13 points, followed by Caden Russo with 12. We got Ryan Bartek with 3, Logan Jerome with 2, and Aiden Bartholomew with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by number 10, Elijah Inspringer with 9, followed by Jack Charlo with 5. We have Nick Jensen with 2, and Aiden Fisher, actually, he is their leading scorer. I had my 1 in the wrong spot. Aiden Fisher leads the team with 11 points.
All right, Vikings coming back onto the floor, going the other way this time, so that'll be right to left as you're looking on. Vikings with a nice steady comeback in that second half, or later part of the first half.
Yeah, you know, Elk Mound's pretty tall, 6'5", 6'4", 6'3". They bottled up the middle pretty good, and Elk Mound made the threes on the outside, got the big lead, and we'll see what Coach Knoll did here for adjustments.
Mounders starting with the ball, going between Bartig and Knutson. Back down in the far corner to Knutson. To Bartig. He goes into Wenzel. And the Vikings triple up on him. They're going to call a jump ball. Mounders are going to get to... Or no, that is Colfax ball. So the Vikings will bring it up the floor on that jump ball. Good break for them. Irwin crossing the timeline. Flips it over to Johnson. Johnson back to Irwin. Irwin drives to the free throw line stop. Back out to Johnson. Three-point attempt. Up, no good. Rebounded by Russo of the Mounders. Russo over to Bartig. Bartig drives in, dishes it back to Bartholomew. Bartholomew out to Bartig. Bartig drives in, free throw line, and loses the ball. Stolen out of there by Elijah Ensminger. He's bringing it up the floor for Colfax. Around the jump circle and hands it off to Kyle Irwin. Irwin down the floor, tipped by Charlo, out to Ensminger. Ensminger goes up from 10. That shot falls short. It falls into the hands of Aiden Bartholomew. Bartig over on the far sideline for the Mounders. Bartig over to Wenzel. Cross court to Knutson up high. Down to Russo. Russo drives in, goes up. Shot missed, fouled by Jack Charlo of the Vikings. That's the first foul of the second half. That puts Caden Russo, 6'4" junior forward, on the free throw line for the Mounders. And that shot missed. He'll get another. Russo with the second one. That one goes in as well. 33-27, a 6-point lead for the Elk Mound Mounders. Pass goes to Johnson. Johnson from Irwin. Looks back over that way, tosses it to Irwin. Down in the corner to Charlo. Charlo for three, hits it! Colfax pulls to within three. It's 33-30, Mounders. Out in the far corner, it goes to Bartholomew. Bartholomew to Wenzel. Out to Bartig. Bartig to Russo. Russo lets one fly from three-point land, makes that one. It's 36-30, Mounders. In the middle, it's Irwin. Ball, the pass is stolen away, bringing up the floor, Ryan Bartig. Bartig goes up, and that nice block by Kyle Irwin. Ball goes out of bounds off Colfax. Elk Mound will keep it. Aiden Fisher comes into the game now for the Vikings. He'll give Blake Johnson a break. Cale Knutson, nope, sorry, Caden Russo tossing it in, and he goes way, way into the backcourt to Bartig. Runs back there to get, and brings it out. Pass on the left goes to Bartholomew. Bartholomew out to Knutson, to Russo, top of the key to Bartholomew. And the pass stolen away by Kyle Irwin, but he couldn't quite pull it in to keep it from going out of bounds. 15:22 remains in the second half, and the Mounders take a full timeout with the score. Elk Mound 36, Colfax 30. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
On those days when you're hankering for something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by FitFam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve Herbalife meal replacement shakes, metabolism boosting teas, and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. FitFam is a slam dunk. That's FitFam Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax.
Little friendly rivalry even going on in the sidelines in the stands. Colfax and Elk Mound student sections trying to out-cheer each other. Mounders with the ball. Ball goes into Russo from Knutson, back out to Russo. Back over to Bartholomew. Russo comes to get it, dishes out to Knutson. Knutson for three. Drains another one. Mounders. The three ball has made the difference for them in this game, 39-30. And Colfax takes a timeout this time. Elk Mound 39, Colfax 30, 15:02 to go in the first half. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Hayden Fisher tosses it in to Kyle Irwin to get things started for the Vikings. Back and forth up top, down underneath they find Charlo. Charlo goes up for a basket attempt. And he's fouled and picked up off the floor by the three Mounders who surrounded him. So Jack Charlo with a couple of free throws, misses the first. Second one, that one's good. 39-31, Colfax pulls to within 8 against the Elk Mound Mounders. Up on the right side, Bartholomew. Bartholomew out to Russo. Russo to Bardig. Bardig stops. Shot blocked. But they're going to say they got a piece of Russo on the way up as well. That is going to go against Jack Charlo. That is his second. That is the Vikings' second of the second half. So Ryan Bardig, 6-foot senior guard, on the free throw line for the Mounders. First shot rolls around and out. Information on the other Elk Mound starters: 5'11" sophomore guard is Cale Knutson, number 4. Sam Wenzel, 6'6" junior forward, number 5. And Aiden Bartholomew, 6'2", senior forward, number 20. Second free throw goes in for Ryan Bardig, and the Mounders go back up by 9. It's 40-31, coming up on 14.5 minutes remaining in the second half. Irwin up high on the left wing. Alley-oops a pass out to Elijah Ensminger. He'll look toward the basket. One-handed pass to Charlo. Back out on top to Aiden Fisher, and we'll have an over and back violation on the Vikings. Mounders will get the ball back. 40-31. Mounders leading Colfax, 14-16 remaining first half. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow with you, along with Chris Olson on the camera and executive producer Rick Olson. Cale Knutson up top, fires it to Bardig. Bardig three-point land, swishes it again. Mounders, wow. It's about number 8 for them as far as three-point buckets. Going up with a shot is Charlo, or check that, that's Ensminger. He misses it and it goes out of bounds. Join NLWN TV, NLWN2 and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Monday as we bring you a girls then boys basketball doubleheader. More details as we go along here. Russo out to Knutson. Knutson into Wenzel. Wenzel's going to try to drive on Jensen, and he tosses back out to Bardig. Bardig will go in now. Jensen steps in, steps out, misses the shot, and it is rebounded by the Vikings' Cale Knutson. Up the floor it goes to Charlo. And I'm not sure who gets the takedown on that one. They're going to charge that to Ryan Bartig. That is his third foul. Each team has 2 fouls here in the second half. Elijah Ensminger on the free throw line. No, sorry about that. Going out underneath. Out on top to Jensen. Jensen to Ensminger. Looks at one, pulls it back in. Doubled up on, gets it into Jensen. Jensen out to Irwin. Back out to Ensminger. Ensminger tripled up on outside to Irwin. Irwin to Ensminger. Down in the corner it goes to Charlo. And it's missed. Ball tipped out. Colfax takes it back. It's Ensminger. Gives it to Charlo. Charlo with a layup right over the center. And the Vikings close the gap to 10. 43-33 Elk Mound. Amble tosses it over to Jerome. Jerome with some ball handling problems. Jensen ends up with it. 2 Mounders, 2 Vikings on the floor, popping it up for the shot from 10, pushing it back up and in. Charlo for a bucket. Elk Mound lead cut to 8, 43-35, 12-13 to go, second half. Cale Knutson with the ball, free throw line right, out to Russo. Back to Knutson. Knutson dishes it inside to Logan Jerome. Ball last going out of bounds, I think off Jensen. And Colton Hoffman's now going to check into the game for Nick Jensen, give him a little breather. So Caden Russo wearing number 1 for the Mounders on the Elk Mound baseline right of the basket. And it looks like we have a foul away from the ball. That is going to be charged to Colton Hoffman, who just checked in. And Aiden Bartholomew is going to check back in for the Mounders. 12:04 to go, second half. Elk Mound 43, Colfax 35. Pass goes way out on top to Brady Amble. Then up to Aiden Bartholomew, who took a step before he moved with the ball. 12:01 to go, second half, 43-35. Colfax is trailing Elk Mound. Irwin trying to get it inside to Charlo, knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, just let everybody know, sorry for the buffering tonight. We do have internet connection problems here. We did get it back, though.
Barding across the timeline. Passes to the left of Jerome. Back out on top to Russo. Three-point shot missed. Right into the hands of Ensminger for Colfax. Ensminger, far side. Drives into double coverage. Fires over to a wide open Aiden Fisher. His shot doesn't go, but it's rebounded by Colton Hoffman. Ball goes out on top, and Irwin comes up with it. Irwin in the land of the Giants. Pull-away jumper. Bounces off and in. Colfax closes the gap to 6. It's 43-37 Elk Mound. 11:11 to go in the second half. And the Mounders want a timeout. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Elk Mound. Join us on NLWN TV, NLWN 2, and the Northern Light Webcasting Network this Monday night. We'll bring you a girls and boys basketball doubleheader. The Viking girls will host the Prairie Farm Panthers in the first game with Viking pregame starting at 5:35, followed by the play-by-play coverage of Game 1. Then the Viking boys will host the Boyceville Bulldogs in Game 2. Viking pregame will begin shortly after the girls' game. That's Colfax girls, then boys basketball doubleheader this Monday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Popping it up from the lane, Logan Jerome makes a 6-footer and pushes the Elk Mound lead back to 8, 45-37. And an alley-oop pass defended well by Ryan Bardig of the Mounders. They were trying to get a pass in to Jack Charlo, and it didn't, and he got it stopped. Kyle Irwin's going to throw it in bounds. Underneath the basket on the left side, goes out on top to Fisher. Fisher, free throw line left, bounces it down in the corner to Irwin, and it's picked off by the Mounders' Caden Russo. Russo taking it coast to coast, then he'll spin a pass off to Logan Jerome. Jerome goes in, he'll give it back to Russo. Russo being harassed goes off the glass and in. He makes the layup and is fouled in the process. So on the free throw line is Caden Russo, trying to finish off a three-point play as Elk Mound stretches their lead back to 10. It's 47-37, 10:24 to go in the second, and the second free throw goes in as well. So Irwin out of the backcourt for the Vikings. Off to Fisher, then down in the far corner. Charlo for three. Charlo deep in the corner, drains it. Bardig comes up with the ball for Elk Mound. Bardig alley-oops it into Wenzel. Wenzel on the baseline, and we're going to have a foul called on Colton Hoffman of the Vikings. That is his third foul. That is the fifth foul for the Colfax team here in the second half. 9:53 to go, second half. It's 48 for Elk Mound, 40 for Colfax. Inbounds pass goes in to Bardig. Out to Knutson. Near corner, Caden Russo drains another three-pointer for the Mounders. Vikings up the floor to Jensen. Jensen out to Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger to Blake Johnson. Johnson from the top. Hooks it down to Charlo. And Charlo fouled. That foul charge to Aiden Bartholomew. Vikings will throw it in. Blake Johnson to Aiden Fisher. Out to Ensminger. Ensminger for three. Rolls off, no good. Reload by Charlo, and a foul is going to be called on the Mounders. That's going to be against Aiden Bartholomew, sending Jack Charlo to the line for two. First free throw. Missed. Rolled off. 51-40 Elk Mound, 9:20 remaining second half. That one bounces around and out as well. Rebound pulled out of there by Aiden Bartholomew. Bartholomew out to Russo. Russo down underneath to Wenzel. Wenzel with a layup on the baseline. Colfax with the ball now. Ensminger dribbles from the near side. Ensminger halfway down. It's out on top to Fisher. Fisher to Johnson. Back out on top to Johnson from Jensen. And three-pointer drained by Aiden Fisher. Free throw line left. That is his fourth. Elk Mound with the ball. Ryan Bardig. Bardig out to Russo. And ball went off of Jack Charlo. Charlo backs off a little bit as the ball is bounced to Caden Russo. Then across the timeline to Ryan Bardig. Bardig free throw line right to Jerome. Jerome inside goes to Wenzel, out to Russo. 3-point shot missed, rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger fires it off to Fisher, down in the corner to Charlo. Back to Johnson, near side to Ensminger. Ensminger up for three, rolls off the front, rebounded by Blake Johnson. Johnson out to Fisher. Fisher three-pointer missed, rebounded by Logan Jerome. To Ryan Bardig, bringing it out of the backcourt to Cale Knudsen. Knudsen driving up over the center, missed, rebound, or gets his own reload. And he's going to get 2 free throws going back up. .7:31 remaining, second half. Elk Mound leading by 10. 53-43. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow night. First free throw rolls out as the Viking girls travel to Glenwood City to take on the Hilltoppers in a Dun St. Croix Conference battle. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax Vikings girls basketball tomorrow night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second free throw does go in. Colfax gets the ball back. What? Johnson over on the far side to Fisher. Back to Johnson. And ball tapped away and controlled by Logan Jerome. Out to Ryan Bardig. Bardig up high on the left side. Bardig to Bartholomew. To Jerome. Jerome comes from the sidelines, dribbles to the free throw line, passes to Bardig. Bardig nails the three-pointer. 57-43 Elk Mound, 6:44 to go second half, sorry. Ensminger out to Johnson. Back to Ensminger. Ensminger up, rolls off, no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Colfax still has it on their end. Fisher out to Irwin. Back to Fisher, three-point attempt. Catches the side iron. He gets his own rebound, puts it back up again, over the top. No good, rebounded by Caden Russo. Russo to Brady Amble, or check that, that's Ryan Bardig. Bardig halfway down to Jerome. Back out to Caden Russo. Russo to Wenzel, or check that, that's Bartholomew. Bartholomew to Bardig. Bardig driving the baseline, fires opposite corner. Logan Jerome swishes a three ball. Elk Mound just unbelievable from outside that arch tonight. Irwin out on the far corner to Charlo for three. And a timeout called, and Colfax takes that one. It is Elk Mound 60, Colfax 46, 5:38 remaining. Second half, you're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have a lawn with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Dunsink Conference Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. It's Colfax trailing Elk Mound 60-46. Mounders trying to break a full court press. Ball gets out to Cale Knutson. Knutson down to Brady Amble, left wide open. He tries to get it back inside to Sam Wenzel. Knocked out of bounds off one of the Vikings. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavaliers baseball. Follow the Cavs throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Mounders miss a shot from the corner. Irwin comes up with it and brings it up the floor for Colfax. Irwin doubled up on, fires it hard down underneath to Jack Charlo. Goes back out to Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger. Pass over to Irwin. Irwin going. Drives around the Mounders standing there. Jensen with the reload puts it up and in. 60-48. Elk Mound, 4:50 remaining second half. Mounders pass it across the timeline. Aiden Bartholomew out to Ryan Bardig. Bardig fires off, free throw line left. Bartholomew ends up down in the far corner to Bardig. Bardig, one-handed pass back to Bartholomew. Trying to get it over to Russo. Russo zigged when Bartholomew thought he zagged, and it went out of bounds. 4:25 remaining second half. 60-48 Elk Mound leading Colfax. Vikings out of the backcourt. It's Kyle Irwin. Fires a pass to Fisher. Back to Irwin and Fisher. Fisher up for three. Drains it. 60-51. That is 5 3-point baskets for him. Ball is going back to the Mounders. Full court pressure now for Colfax. Caden Russo fires a baseball pass to Cale Knutson up on the far side. He quickly passes it back out to Logan Jerome, and he'll put in a layup on the left side. Now the Vikings quickly up the floor. It is Ensminger. Ensminger fires cross court to Fisher. Down in the corner as Charlo missed. Reload by Jensen. That one doesn't go. Jensen trying to get it. It's rebounded by Logan Jerome. Russo trying to get it inside to Wenzel. Back out to Knutson. Knutson back out on the far side to Russo. Back to Bardig. Bardig for three. Drains another one. It is going to be interesting to see how many three-point baskets were made in this game. Unbelievable. Over in the far corner, Charlo misses that shot, and it's rebounded by Elk Mound's Ryan Bardig. Bardig at the jump circle, fires to Caden Russo. Russo down to Jerome. And it looks like we'll have a foul away from the ball. That's going to be called on Nick Jensen of the Vikings. That's going to send Sam Wenzel to the free throw line. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow night as the Viking girls travel to Glenwood City to take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers in a Dunn St. Croix Conference battle. Free throw missed, and it is rebounded by Kyle Irwin. 6:50 for Viking pregame. From the corner, that shot by Aiden Fisher bounces off. That's Colfax girls basketball tomorrow night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Colfax with the ball underneath their own basket. Left side, 2:36 to go, second half. Colfax trailing Elk Mound 65-51. Out on top, it's Ensminger. One-handed throw to Irwin. Irwin trying to get loose of the ball, and Jensen manages to save it after it was tipped. Ensminger caught up, ball tipped, stolen by Russo. Now the Vikings try to steal it back and keep it in bounds. They do. Kyle Irwin gets it as Jack Charlo ends up on the floor to try to keep it in bounds. Ball tipped away from Irwin. He'll go to Fisher on the give and go. Missed. Rebounded by Elk Mound's Russo. Russo out to Bardig. Bardig across the center circle. Fires into Knutson, out on top to Russo. To Ryan Bardig. Bardig holding it. Elk Mound leading by 14, and there's 1:35 left in the game. Back out to Jerome. Jerome to Bardig. To Russo up high. And Mounders trying to just run off a lot of clock and wait until they've got a clean shot at the basket. Ball's going to go out of bounds off Elijah Ensminger. Caden Russo to toss it in for the Mounders. Fires it to Bardig, who can go in the backcourt to get it. Bardig crosses the timeline out to Knutson. Back to Russo in the middle. He'll dump it off on the right wing to Bardig. Bardig being guarded very closely by Ensminger. We're down under a minute now. Caden Russo up at the top is fouled on the way in by Jack Charlo. On the free throw line is Caden Russo for the Elk Mound Mounders. Sends the first one up. That one is good. Join us on NLWN TV, NLW2, and the Northern Light Webcasting Network this Monday night. We have a girls and boys basketball doubleheader. Second free throw is good. 55.6 and counting in the ball game. 16-point lead for Elk Mound. Elk Mound out to Ensminger, or Irwin, back to Ensminger. Ensminger up, finds the rim. Jensen with the ball, reload out to Irwin. Irwin airs it, and Elk Mound gets it back. 34.6 seconds remain in the game at 67-51. Elk Mound. Thrown in bounds to Bardig. Bardig doubled up on, and he is fouled by Elijah Ensminger. That is only Elijah's second foul of the game. That is the 9th foul for Colfax. So Elk Mound will continue in the bonus for one more foul to give here, and then it'll be double bonus for Elk Mound. First free throw up and in for Ryan Bardig. In Monday night's doubleheader, the Viking girls host Prairie Farm Panthers. Viking pregame starts at 5:35, followed by the play-by-play. The boys host the Boyceville Bulldogs in game 2. As the second free throw is good. Viking pregame for the boys game will begin shortly after the girls game's done. That's Monday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and affiliated stations. Caden Russo with the rebound on the missed shot by the Vikings. 13 seconds left in the game. Ryan Bardig's going to be content to probably just dribble it in the corner. Vikings are going to head off. And tonight's final, the Elk Mound Mounders defeat the Colfax Vikings by a score of 69-51. So Elk Mound's record goes to 7-3 on the season, and they remained undefeated in the Dun St. Croix with a record of 4-0. Colfax falls to 1-3 in the Dun St. Croix and 6-4 on the season. The final, Elk Mound 69, Colfax Boys 51. Stay tuned now. We will have Vikings post-game along with hopefully some comments from Colfax coach Mark Knoll. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Friday, January 13th, when the Vikings will travel to Glenwood City to take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Friday, January 13th.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Welcome back to Elk Mound. The Elk Mound Mounders defeated the Colfax Vikings boys by a score of 69-51. Looking to see if Mark Knoll's close by, and I don't see him. So, Dan, how did we get there?
Yeah, here's the scores for Elk Mound tonight. They're led by number 1, Caden Russo with 24 points, followed by Kale Knudsen with 16. We had Ryan Bartig with 15. We had Logan Jerome with 9. We had Aiden Bartholomew with 2, and Sam Wenzel with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by number 12, Jack Charlotte. He had 19, followed by Aiden Fisher with 17. We had Eli Jensminger with 9. We had Nick Jensen with 4. And Kyle Irwin with 2. 69-51.
So, not sure if we're going to see Mark Knoll, but, the Vikings, how do you defend those three-point shots when a team gets hot like that?
Yeah, they did a good job really on the inside. What do we got? 6. Elk Mound's got 6'6", 6'5", 6'2", 6'4", and, good job by Hoffman and Nick Jensen to battle on the outside. And, any team can get somebody that gets hot. Caden Russo got hot for Elk Mound, and Elk Mound ended up with 13 threes.
Wow.
I'm going to date myself a little bit. Back in the day, you'd give those guys that much space to hit those threes because you know that the percentage is way down. I think those years are over.
Yep.
You got to get out and guard those threes nowadays.
Yep, yeah. And that certainly was the case tonight because that was a lot of the difference in the game, though, those 3-point shots. Although Colfax, once they got going, they had spurts where they had quite a few of them as well, too.
Yeah, and I thought this game where we won at the free throw line, and really the fouling was down quite a bit. Not too many times to the free throw line. So on to the next game.
Yep, and that next game for the boys is part of a basketball doubleheader on Monday that we'll tell you a little bit more about. What? Okay, we will take a break, and we will be back to wrap things up here and hopefully talk with Mark Knoll. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2 and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball. Our next game will be on Monday, January 16th, when the Vikings play host to the Boyceville Bulldogs as part 2 of a girls then boys doubleheader. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service, NLWN TV and NLWN2, begins with Viking pregame, shortly following the conclusion of the girls game with Prairie Farm. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service, NLWN TV and NLWN2 on Monday, January 16th. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
Lots of great upcoming sports here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, so we hope you'll join us for that. And it looks like both coaches are decided to spend time with the guys tonight, so we will move on and wrap things up. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. So be sure to thank these fine sponsors for by doing business with them. For Dan Petchaw, executive producer Rick Olson, and Chris Olson on the camera, I'm Jay Fall. We thank you very much for joining us tonight, and hope you'll be back with us again soon. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.